everyone. Coach Sullivan here again with MGS Coaching Football. To my subscribers, I thank you. And non-subscribers, I'm hoping to tease you into pushing that button. This past fall, I completed my 38th year coaching football and as a defensive coordinator, but over that time, I've also been an offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, longtime head coach, and all of this at both the collegiate and high school levels. In this presentation, I want to talk to you about one of our pistol games that we call Yugo. Okay, pistol game is a two-man pass rush line stunt. Okay, so it's a concept that I'll go over with you shortly. Okay, we call it Yugo because Y is what we designate as the tight end, and our rover is involved in this, and so he goes to the tight end. So simply put, the rover is involved in this particular pistol game. Okay, so over here are the key terms that'll help you better understand the pistol game Yugo itself and how we execute it, including the direction that we call it, who the designated blocker is, and why, and so forth. So that will bring in why the tackle is in red right now. Okay. So the first key term we have is Yugo itself. Okay, it's a pistol game involving the defensive end and the rover. Okay. So consequently, letter A, our lucky Ringo call is to the rover. It's made by the rover. Okay, so non-subscribers push the button, but right, if the rover doesn't know who he is, there's only one of them, right? We got trouble. So then, right, the defensive end, he goes first, which makes him the penetrator. Okay, and so what he does is he stabs B gap to the call. So this is a Ringo, right, made by the rover. So it's going to be the stud, and then this is key. He'll loop for outside cage versus pass. So that will tie in the fourth key term. Okay. So we call this in a passing situation based upon our opponent's tendencies, and those can change during the course of a game. But initially, it's going to be executed, and then they're going to react, as we'll learn. Okay, last. All right. So he's going to stab B, and I'll explain that when I get to the diagram, and then versus pass, loop out for outside cage. Number 3, the rover, on the other hand, goes second because the rover is the looper. All right? So what the rover is going to do, and this is key, hence the term Yugo, he is going to take 4 hard upfield, outside the tackle steps. Right? He's legitimately pass rushing vertically up the field. Okay? Then he's going to loop behind the defensive end, which is part of the concept in our pistol game for the looper. He always goes behind the penetrator. But here's the key. We say cop a free field. Cop a free field. So that'll play in once I go through it with you in the diagram. And I'm going to show it to you in the diagram versus a pass. So the offensive lineman will be pass setting. Okay, so the copper free field I'll show to you. All righty? So now letter C, who's the designated blocker? Well, that's why the offensive tackle's in red. The offensive tackle is the designated blocker on this one. It's going to bring in one extra little component, as you'll see. The butt side rule, we tell the rover, you are C gap unless, okay, C gap unless, and here's the little extra component. The offensive tackle is facing you, which is always the component, but is he facing you on your level? Okay? He's got to be facing you and facing you on your level. And if he is, then you're going to rip into B gap. Okay? And so again, when we get to the diagram very shortly, I'll show you how all that plays out. And then the fourth key term here ties back into when I was talking about the DN, the penetrator, right? Loop for outside cage versus pass. Very, very simple. To get our guys to play fast with their feet, they got to be able to play fast here. We say you execute it first, no matter what. Execute Yugo. And then react to the run second. So if a team decides they're going to run the football and punt, no problem. You execute it and then react. I don't want any hesitation, right? To play fast with the feet, players have to play fast here. And I think we simplify it and let them do that. Okay? And that's for both defenders, the D end and the rover. So now let's get over here. Okay, I'm going to talk to you first about surface, okay, then the defensive end, the penetrator, stabbing B gap, and then the rover, the looper, and his deal, okay? So first and foremost, right, we're going to say right now that the offensive line is in fact pass setting, okay, hi-hat. Whether it's a soft set, hard set, doesn't matter for the purposes of the presentation, okay? So what is meant by the penetrator, in this case the stud, stab B gap, right, to the call. He's going to take a slight little step, and then he's going to get vertical. He's going to penetrate. He's going to stab that gap, penetrate, get vertically up into the gap. Okay, you got to threaten the gap. That's what the stab means, okay? And so that's a little step and then rip through the near inside fin of the offensive tackle and penetrate the gap. Once you've penetrated the gap and you see you got hi-hats, then you loop for outside cage versus pass. So as he's doing that, if he has a chance to sack the quarterback, he takes it. Just to answer that question, okay? But we're going to go on the assumption he doesn't have that, so he's got to get vertically penetrated, and then he's got outside cage. You want to know more about that, non-subscribers? You got to push the button. So now let's get to the rover, the looper, who I am going to put in blue, okay? So the tight end's not in the protection. So we're going to say the tight end, as released, he's part of the pass concept. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Okay? So, the rover, 4 hard steps upfield. It's a legitimate pass rush. Okay? So we say step with your inside foot. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom! Okay? 1, 2, 3. That fourth step's with the outside foot. See what I'm saying? That's why we want it to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And on that fourth step, he's going to make his move. He's going to make his read. Okay? So this is what is meant by C gap, unless he gets to that fourth step. And as he's rushing, he's looking inside, so he'll know this. On that fourth step, if the offensive tackle is not at his level, which he shouldn't be, this is an athletic outside linebacker versus a big, burly, I don't care how, if he's that athletic, he's playing on TV. Okay? This is what's meant by the copper-free field. Okay, we'll say this is where the defensive end was when the rover hit his fourth step. Okay, he's looping behind. Copper-free field is stay nice and tight. A little bit of rub right off his butt. Don't knock into him. But you know, not literally, but that's what we say. Don't have a whole lot of space between you. Copper-free field. It's a tangible landmark. So the butt of the defensive end, when we say copper-free field, that's your landmark. That's where you should be. Okay? So if the offensive tackle, I don't even care if he's facing you. If he's not on your level, that's what you do. So let's just say, for whatever reason, let's say the rover slips. Let's say he makes too much contact with the tight end. Variety of reasons. He just slow off the ball. And the tackle's, right, athletic. When he gets to the fourth step, if that offensive tackle's not only looking at him, but he's on his level, and we even say if he's close, so he can get hands on you. Okay? That is when you loop in the B gap, which means you're going to cross the face of the offensive tackle. Okay? across the face of the offensive tackle. No longer are you trying to cop a free field on the butt of your defensive end. Now it's all about your designated blocker, who's the offensive tackle. And that is how we execute Yugo. And that's how we teach it. Okay, so for the rover, the outside linebacker, it's very important. Step with the inside foot first. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they're ready to drive inside and either cop the free field off the butt of the D end because the tackle's not on his level, or cross the face of the tackle because he's either on the level or close enough where he can get hands on you into the B gap. Okay? So as I said at the beginning, my subscribers said thank you. Non-subscribers, I hope when I tease you into pushing the button. To everybody, please reach out to me at coachmjsullivan@gmail.com. I love to talk football with you. I want to thank you for watching MJS Coaching Football, and I want to thank YouTube for providing this platform.